All right, so welcome back here to the Winter Fancy Food Show. We are here again looking at some interesting aspects, I think, of the food business. That's breaking down different things like proteins and veg. We've seen plant-based, we've seen crickets on this stage. So a little bit of
Very
everything.
cool.
I've got Mohammad Modarres with me from Abe's Meats. So nice to meet you, CEO.
Thank you.
Great
Yeah,
for stopping
great to
in.
be here.
Yeah.
Thank you for
But
having me.
let's go right into Abe's Meats. Tell us a little bit about Abe's Meats.
Sure, yeah.
A little bit about how you got started.
Absolutely. Abe's Meats produce what we call interfaith meat,
Okay.
which is the first meat that's halal and kosher at the same time. And we follow the most orthodox laws for both faiths. So it's glut kosher and zabiya halal. And that allows Muslims and Jews to eat from the same plate.
Okay.
Which is great.
Yeah.
You know, using food as a tool for social development, for people to come together and better understand each other's backgrounds and perspectives, but also to help food providers market to multiple communities at the same time.
Right. Yeah, that's a big value add.
Yeah, it saves them time, it saves them money, inventory space, and even food waste.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
we're excited about that.
Yeah. How did you guys come across the process of interfaith meats?
Yeah,
What was that whole story?
It's my background's in public health, and I never thought I'd be here. It was really by accident. A lot of the work that happened for Interfaith Meat was because I just wanted to better tackle the rise in anti-Semitism and anti-Muslim bigotry that was going on after the 2016 elections.
Yeah.
And, as someone who grew up post 9/11, seeing the type of rhetoric, the type of language that was happening to a lot of different minority groups,
Right.
I felt that I needed to do something. And realizing that, I want to bring my entrepreneurial friends together and let them have a dinner together. And I coined just this term, Shabbat Salam.
Okay.
Playing words of Shabbat Shalom and Salam Alaikum.
Yep.
And sure enough, the name did the work, really,
That's
bringing
cool.
people together. But I realized that I couldn't host the dinner because these
the
different
faith differences,
communities, someone wants halal, someone wants kosher, and I realized that was a bit of a logistical nightmare to serve both separately in the same space.
Interesting.
And you go to interfaith events and you see that, you see kosher on one side and you see halal on the other, and it's great. It's great to have an interfaith event to begin with. But the fact that you're here celebrating each other's commonalities, but people end up going to their separate lines,
Right,
and then
yeah.
as a result, sitting in their
Other places.
I thought that was a little odd, and the fact that these communities really wanted to get together, I thought, well, let me see if I can bring the kosher and halal world together. And of course, we have different products that are already
Right.
kosher and halal, but in this case, for meat production, it hadn't been done before.
Right.
And, the story is funny to a lot of people in the sense that I became obsessed by figuring out this supply chain matter, so much so that, I started, going up and down the Pacific Coast. Weekends turned into whole weeks of, working with religious leaders, food experts, seeing if I can bring it together. And sure enough, a little over a year ago now, I met up with a shochet, who is a Jewish professional who sees the kosher meat production process, and his Muslim equivalent. And we chatted about, the similarities, the differences, and we ended up coming together over, a farm in Southern Oregon, and producing what we call now the first, interfaith meat product. And so it's been good fun, taking my 1979, VW bus up and down the coast,
There you go.
and enjoying the landscape, but also hosting these dinners now that we have the product,
Right,
being
yeah.
able to have a good time with these interfaith dinners.
Interesting. When you look at developing this kind of product angle, because it's a great marketing angle, but at the same time it's got some real functionality in it. do you find what you guys are doing that could be applied to maybe other categories of food out there? Where do you see that going?
Absolutely. I mean, nowadays, when you want to start anything, when you want to be a quote-unquote entrepreneur, I think by default you have to be a social entrepreneur.
Right.
You have to think about the social impact that you want to bring to the world. And in our case, I was a former public health practitioner.
Yeah.
And I used my public health background in the biotech space. And I thought, oh my God, I'm entering the meat industry.
Yeah.
And I was familiar with what industrialized factory farming has done to the world.
Sure.
It's polluted our waterways. It's decimated our soil health. It's literally added tons and tons of greenhouse gas emissions into the atmosphere. But there's an alternative way that uses the land properly, allows for local economies to benefit.
Yep.
And so for us, we thought, okay, our social impact is pretty clear. What we've done, bringing these two methods together, and therefore these two communities together. And when you come to our Shabbat Salam events, the goal is by the end of the night to just really learn something new from someone you would otherwise not meet.
Well, food is a great equalizer and kind of a bonder
Absolutely.
of people, I think. And for that, approach, I think is a cool way to do it.
Yeah, and so knowing that we checked off that list, and we checked it off very proudly, it was about how do we now tackle the ecological and the economic approach we want to take as a food business, or as a social enterprise. And so we want to make sure that where we source is local, and so our markets in New York, so the ranchers, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, the oversight, it's done entirely kosher halal.
What was their kind of feedback to you when you guys started looking at sourcing options? I'm sure you had a set of guidelines that obviously they would follow, but what were some of the feedback that you got from that? Did you find experienced suppliers out there that were, or did you kind of have to guide them through that process?
I would say that there's already such a large network and community for kosher.
Okay.
And halal is
so
now
the demand
making,
was there. It was just a matter of kind of marrying the two.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. I mean, bringing our halal oversight into the process, and for I think people who look at it from the outside in, they ask me, was there conflict? Was there
Sure.
any issues like this? And then inside the business, it's very straightforward. People are just like, yeah, of course, let's do this.
Yeah.
And especially the shochets who we worked with the first time around in Oregon, they were excited.
Yeah.
Learning
That's
off
cool.
of each other. I mean,
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, I've been doing this for 20, 30 years, and okay, I need to make these little adjustments, which don't change anything for me. Let's do it, sure.
Yeah, okay.
And it's just, I think in regards to every part of the process, it's just about the relationships.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the fact that even in regards to when we're producing the product, we work with another kosher meat company, and the facility that we work with in Maryland, I mean, it works with many different brands. And so for them, they're just like, let's do this.
Sure.
It's another opportunity for them to work with another brand that they, see as a proper relationship for them.
Absolutely. All right. So Abe's Meats, your lineup of products consist of?
Yeah. Right now, it's fairly straightforward. Ground beef, 85-15, ribeye, and brisket. Brisket's very popular within the Jewish community.
Sure.
Ground beef is great for the caterers who are interested in our products. Ribeye steaks, it's great, and it's grass fed, grass finished. So there's definitely a taste factor that a lot of our consumers enjoy. But we are a very new company, and so we've been playing around with just different. Now that we've done the vacuum sealed frozen food product, people are coming to us wanting, the next the next big
next
thing
thing, yeah.
from us.
Right.
And that goes, from interfaith meat being like a hot dog,
Yeah.
because especially Muslims and Jews, the infrastructure outside of this product then begins to lack more and
Right,
more, in the
right.
sense of, like, where's the nearest kosher halal
Option, yeah,
restaurant?
options.
Where's options of having the same type of experience if we go to a baseball game or a basketball game,
Oh, okay.
and or even a festival, or for a lot of, we're having discussions with different representatives from university dining halls,
Mhm.
and making sure that a Muslim college student can go and get her meals not just from a kosher dining hall, but from a kosher and halal dining hall.
How do you kind of connect the dots there for, when you get into distribution like that,
Sure.
of being able, because with your events, it's pretty easy to figure out, okay, this is how it works.
Sure.
But for maybe a dining hall, where it goes into food service system, there's a lot of education process there to kind of just, get everybody on a relaxed, understanding of what's happening here with the product. Is that something that you guys have had a challenge with, or how's the process of
Educating the
yeah.
consumer?
Well, or your distributors, or the
Or the
people that are,
distributors? Well, once we've been very lucky, very honored. I mean, specialty foods, different organizations, especially since we did the TED residency last year.
Right.
We've been connected really directly to the decision makers.
Yeah.
And when they realize that we offer a 2-in-1 product,
Yeah.
that is halal and kosher. Once you say 2-in-1,
Yeah.
it's like, oh,
magic
wait,
is there.
okay. So now you're telling me, especially for, say, an airline.
Yeah, exactly.
An
That's
airline.
a really good point.
You forget the kosher meal, halal meal, vegetarian meal, what have
Yeah.
you. And for us, going up to an airline and saying, look, now if we make this all one product,
Yeah.
how much that is going to save you in space?
Yep.
Which then airlines these days, they're measuring everything
Yep.
by how much
Every centimeter,
gas,
yeah.
and the jet fuel savings, and et cetera. They have a lot of measurements. And so for us, just making it that simple, and I think that's the beauty of this product, really, is 2-in-1.
I like
Very
it.
straightforward.
All right. Well, Mohammad, it's been great having you on the set today.
Thank you so much.
Good
Yeah,
luck
thank you
with
for having me.
Yeah. Good luck with Abe's Meats.
All right. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Make sure and stay tuned right here for more from the Winter Fancy Food Show. We'll be continuing our coverage right here. We'll catch you in a bit.